here at Kilowatt Brewing, where today they've given us an exclusive key into a forbidden cove. Let's go. Welcome back, everyone. We're inside the Forbidden Cove, a speakeasy in San Diego. Now today we're switching it up a bit and bringing you the best of Life Untapped. So let's start off with Sam the Cooking Guy, who has one of the most popular and followed shows right here on your view. Now he's your everyday guy who loves making great tasting food. So Sam's latest venture is taking his recipes out of this kitchen. Take a look.
I'm Sam the Cooking Guy. This show is about food that's big in taste and small in effort.
Sam the Cooking Guy has been cooking on TV for 17 years. And everything that I've done, really, and continue to do, is sort of pretty easy stuff. I'm not a trained chef, so my theory was if I could make it simple enough, people would watch and they would go, wow, that looks good but easy, and I can also make that.
But we want enough liquid to be most of the way up the pork, right?
Well, when people say to me, I've learned to cook from you, I cannot get a warmer feeling in my heart. I really can't. It's the best thing ever.
Look at the burgers. They're about halfway done. What do they get now? They get a flip.
My partners who built the Little Italy Food Hall came to be first not because of the restaurant idea, but to be maybe the marketing face of the Little Italy Food Hall. So while we were exploring that relationship, I said one day, I've got this idea for a little taco shop. Tacos, but not Mexican inspired. But these are things like pastrami, smoky pulled pork with macaroni and cheese, Asian salmon, that, Korean short rib, that kind of stuff. And I do the food, the recipes, the inspiration. I'm the face, the brand. It's a really great partnership. We would talk about what the tacos were going to be to people, and occasionally people would say, well, wait a second, not carne asada, not chorizo, not anything Mexican. Well, are they tacos, aren't they? We'd say, well, they're not tacos, and it just means that all you need is a tortilla. That's it. But literally things that I've been making at home in slightly different forms.
You've got onion, you've got this drippy yolk, the egg, the pastrami, the crunchies. Yep. Bon appetit.
Thought we'd show you how to make one of my favorite tacos here, and certainly my wife's favorite taco, the Kelly shrimp. It's very good. And it goes together like that, which is the way I like to cook. So we'll get some heat under our wok. While it's heating up, we'll give it just a little avocado oil. Pan's now hot, in go the shrimp. Yeah, but you can see we're starting to get some color in here, and it's only been a couple of seconds. So we're gonna leave those. Now we'll start to build the tortilla. We start with one of our custom flour tortillas. Down it goes. We'll put our sauce on this, and this is a combination of chipotle peppers, sour cream, and lime. And now for some crunch, some beautiful purple shredded cabbage, and that will go on like this. The one thing we add in the pan is Old Bay seasoning. Stir around a little bit more. We come over to our tortilla, and on we go. This gets two more things to complete. It gets a lime wedge, and then a little micro cilantro for a beautiful little green touch right at the end. This is a Kelly's shrimp taco made by me, the husband of Kelly. The beautiful shrimp, the sauce, the crispy cabbage, all the components of this, lovingly thought out by me. I named it after my wife. It had to be lovingly, right?
Now this next one brings back great memories. As you might remember, at breweries, we love to taste beers, and at wineries, wines of course. But for tasting whiskey, we take you into 7 Grand in San Diego, a a stylish whiskey lounge for tastings like no other. This is the Whiskey Society.
A lot of people don't realize it, but ethanol is actually poisonous. So when you try a whiskey right off the bat for the first time, it's gonna burn your senses. It takes a while for your tongue to acclimate to drinking poison. So a great way to get the night started is try an old fashioned. And an old fashioned having a little bit of sugar, a little bit of bitters, some ice, and an orange zest is really gonna help your palate acclimate to drinking whiskey. I started working here 7 years ago. And when I started working here, I knew about 2 or 3 whiskeys like Johnny Walker, Jack Daniels, Maker's Mark. And when you walk into a bar that has over 700 whiskeys, it was almost intimidating in a sense. But as you gradually start tasting those whiskeys, you build up like a repertoire of knowledge and whiskeys that you like, whiskeys that you might not necessarily don't like. There are so many contributing factors that go into making a specific whiskey. For example, the distillation, the location it's at, what kind of barrels is it being aged in. All those factors combined create completely different whiskeys all around the world.
Cheers to another Ghoulish Whiskey Society. And with the film crew.
Ghoulish, I like it.
So our Whiskey Societies happen every Wednesday and Friday, and they're really fun for groups of friends or just individuals that are looking to learn a little bit more about whiskey. And what's really fun is getting all those people in a room together and sharing a conversation about whiskey and really getting people engaged.
Thank you very, very much, everybody, for coming out tonight. I am always happy to talk about Woodinville, but especially happy to be here in Bar 3 Piece.
They're meant for everybody to come to, be it somebody like myself who drinks whiskey very often, or somebody who's actually just very new to whiskey, even maybe somebody who's never really had it. It's a really good way to introduce yourself to something that you haven't had, and you get a little pour, so you don't have to buy into a very expensive pour of whiskey.
So the first thing that you have, it'll be on your left, is our bourbon. We've got 5 whiskeys to go through tonight.
Probably one of my favorite part about this is I never have had a presenter come in or anybody from the bar staff here try to tell you what you should be tasting.
So go ahead and give it a taste. With rye, the big thing is the baking spices. Cinnamon and nutmeg and cloves and that kind of a thing that you taste. Everything else is up to you, but that's generally what you're looking for in a rye whiskey.
They'll give you some hints, but overall they'll tell you, how do you properly taste it to not overwhelm your palate, but they're going to allow you to be free to just taste what you want and then actually shout that out to the rest of the crowd.
If someone was on the fence about attending a whiskey society, I would always say you should come, because you never know what whiskey you're gonna like. Customers are generally pretty happy after the tastings. Like 5 whiskeys and an old fashioned usually gets you in a pretty good mood.
You know what, everybody here just wants to have a good time and they want to make sure you're having a good time too.
Coming up on Life Untapped, learn about this Chicano comfort food and discover the secrets of the Forbidden Cove. might recall, what had started off as a dream now became reality and has quickly grown into a hotspot for what Barrio Dog calls Chicano comfort food. And just a warning, you might be a little hungry right after this one.
Our menu is a plane ticket to take you around the world of flavors. We use the hot dog as a vehicle to show you flavors from all over the world, not just Mexico. Barrio Dog is a development of a dream that my compadre and I had. It went from an idea to a plan, and we were able to open up in 2017. So we designed a hot dog cart out of a 64 Impala. Right away, we saw that people were interested in what we did. We gave them a sense of comfort with our food. So in May of 2018, we opened up the dining room. We were able to bring more people in to enjoy what we were doing and continue to grow the brand of Barrio Dog. What we do here is specialize in hot dogs. We have hot dogs from Tijuana, we have hot dogs from Japan, we have German style dogs, we do chili cheese from Texas. There's so much variety, and the hot dog is the star of the show. So when you come into Barrio Dog, first of all, I want you to feel like you're at my house. I want you to get a feel of family in the neighborhood, from the sounds that you hear to the smells that you smell. What you're gonna see around you is gonna be like walking into a lowrider museum. I wanted to take you back in time. There's time capsules all over this place that have been opened up to share with the public. Being embraced has a lot to do with where your heart is. And people recognize right away that Barrio Dog was not just here to sell hot dogs. I was here to share a little bit of my culture, a little bit of my life with the rest of the community, and that's what's allowed us to grow. I think that's what drives me, right? People to like my food is what drives me, but I let the food be the star. What we do, what drives me, is to continue to produce food that people like. You know, Barrio Dog's menu will never go stale. We're always developing new flavors. We're always trying new things. We're always thinking outside of the box. So every time you come into Barrio Dog, you'll try something new.
All right, so we're back at Forbidden Cove with co-founder Steve Kozig. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
All right, perfect. So we're gonna get right into the drinks because all of these look pretty delicious. Kind of give us an overview of each one. Let's start with this really cool one.
Yeah, for sure. This is Lono's Delight, and then this one is the Lava Flow, and this one over here is called Washed Out to Sea. And so they're all made with tiki ingredients and tiki cocktail style. So basically, we are not a distillery, so we're a brewery, but these are not beer-based cocktails. We actually make a sugarcane-based liquor. We make one that is just sugarcane based, and we make another one that's molasses based. So they're almost like, you can think of it almost like as like a precursor to rum, but we don't distill it, but we ferment it out as strong as we can. So these are all cocktail strength cocktails and made with a sugarcane based liquor.
I love it. So if anybody wants to get a spot here, how can they do that?
Absolutely. You can always make reservations at forbiddencovesd.com. We recommend that. It can get busy at times. We try to take walk-ins too. So if you just come into, we're also attached to Kilowatt Brewing. So if you come into the brewery and ask, we can usually get you in. We're open Thursday through Saturday.
Oh, so you might just get lucky. So why don't we grab a drink? Maybe you
For
grab
sure,
your favorite.
yeah.
Okay, thank
There's
you.
the Lonos, and I like the Lava Flow. That's one of my favorites, so I'm gonna roll with that.
All right, let's cheers to that.
Cheers.
Thank you for letting us hang out.
Thank you so much, appreciate it.
All right, we'll be right back. Get up and close and personal with Jason Miraz and his $35 cup of coffee. Coming up next on Life Untapped.
Hey, I'm Jason Miraz, and you're watching Life Untapped.
All right, coffee lovers, listen up. Two-time Grammy Award winner Jason Miraz is not only known for his songwriting and vocal skills, but he's also passionate about the environment and sustainability. At the Jason Miraz family farm, he's growing the first California-grown Geisha coffee bean, and it's so good, it's going for $35 a cup.
I started my career in coffee shops. That's standing in the corner, you know, trying to sing over a steam wand or an espresso machine or a burr grinder. And through my travels as an artist, I would dip into coffee shops all around the world and started to fall in love with the beverage itself. So I decided I would be more proactive with my trees and go organic and draw carbon down and be a better steward of the earth. Because for me, I felt like it was a good way to offset my music travels. We are in Oceanside, California, and we are a subtropical fruit farm. We grow 11 different varieties of coffee, and we are the producer of the coffee cherry, which is the very first step in the entire process to get a great cup of coffee. Every single tree requires a human to be visiting it weekly. We have about 2,400 coffee trees in the ground here on this farm. Of those 11 varieties, there are a few that are sought after. One specifically, probably the most sought after coffee in the world, is the Geisha variety, which originated in Geisha village, Ethiopia.
The Miraz family farm, it's the first farm in San Diego County to produce a geisha. The farm is truly a project of love. I'll be honest with you. The best coffee typically is grown at the highest elevation.
And the reason for that, in that high altitude, is it gets colder up there. And it causes that cherry to slow down its ripening process.
What we lack in elevation, we make up for because we have winter.
It's a mild winter. We're in a subtropical region, so we only get to about freezing, but it's not enough of a winter to kill the plants and harm the fruit. So where we don't have altitude, we have latitude. And that latitude allows California, by sheer accident, be a specialty coffee producer. This one would probably be delicious. Geisha has a reputation for its flavor, this silky smoothness that goes along with it. It also has a reputation on the marketplace because historically it has always been the most expensive cup of coffee. I mean, last year's Best of Panama sold for over $1,000 a pound. And that, my friends, is just the green finished bean.
So this would be the Geisha variety. This would be a natural, that's why there's a little bit of reddish color to it. The seeds are almost canoe-shaped. They're oblong and they're narrower.
Once the roaster gets involved, they take that green bean, they add heat, the bean explodes, it loses half its weight and it doubles in size. And through the roasting process, that little green bean becomes that beautiful chocolatey coffee bean that everyone recognizes. If you get a California Geisha, you're drinking one of the rarest coffees in the world. I love being a steward of the earth and seeing what happens when you plant a tree and give it love. It's very much the same in any business or creative endeavor where you plant an idea and you water it, you nurture it, and then over the years you see what it grows into. We're here on earth for a limited time. It's a miracle that we're even here, have consciousness, and it's a real luxury and an honor to be able to spend my time with these sentient beings.
Meet this heavenly artist and find out what this ink lover holiday is all about. You're watching Life Untapped. Artist Shawn Dominguez grew up in San Diego, riding waves and creating surf art. So when he got the opportunity to combine both of his passions together, it all turned into a career he never dreamed of.
The last painting took me about a week. This one I just started yesterday, actually, but I still got a long ways to go. The reason I paint outside is natural sunlight. You know, it shows the colors in its true form, and then as the sun kind of moves around, you get a different feel. This one is going to be a new beer for Lost Abbey.
Way back in 2005, one of our owners had this idea for a brewery that's kind of Lost Abbey that never had its home, and we created the Lost Abbey. So the goal is, you know, we have this cross, and if you look closer at the cross, it has all four elements of beer. So yeast, water, grains, and hops. The Lost Abbey in general is a premium brand, so we wanted to make sure that the art that was being conveyed was premium as well, and that's why we use Shawn for all the art on the Lost Abbey, because he's a great artist.
Tommy had this idea of labels with like fine paintings on them. So he wanted the beers to really have an elegant feel to it, classy, kind of give it a little more style to it. Took off from there. Each beer had a story behind it.
We tried to tell the story of that beer, the front being very, very art focused.
There's definitely a theme in every one, so we're trying to capture that theme like a story. One thing though is about Lost Abbey is all the paintings are basically kind of start off more biblical based, kind of like Old Theme Testament and stuff.
He's a great artist, he's super talented, and we pretty much just have to give him an idea of what we want, and he creates magic, and he's done it with tons of different mediums, and yeah, he's great to work with.
A new beer for Lost Abbey, it's called Exile. It's when Adam and Eve get kicked out of the Garden of Eden, and God sends down the angel with the flaming sword, and I'm going to have him right here eventually. And then Adam and Eve walking into the dark, and this would be basically light green and everything, and this is like God kind of taking everything away as they're leaving.
I mean, the label is huge because it's got to tell the story of your entire brewery in a passing glance, which is extremely difficult. That's why you make a dynamic label so it catches people's eyes. Coming up with the name of the beer is hard enough, but then coming up with what you want art-wise, luckily Shawn is as talented as he is, so we can just make up something and go, can you do this? And 9 times out of 10 he can, and does it quite well.
Now, historically, Friday the 13th has been considered a day of bad luck, but for tattoo parlors and enthusiasts, it's actually quite the opposite. It's more of a tattoo holiday.
I never get to do flash designs or small tattoos anymore. I'm usually working on back pieces, sleeves, legs, and large tattoos. I'm working on my clients, which I love to death. Can I look at the camera? I love you all. So when I do Friday the 13th, I get to start and finish multiple tattoos in the same day. Friday the 13th is an event that this shop and a lot of other tattoo shops do. We've got small, medium, and large tattoos. Every artist designs a custom flash sheet. We have probably over 300 designs to choose from, rather than 12 designs.
I'm getting the Sharingan from Naruto.
I'm gonna get palm trees because it represents San Diego, California.
This was my last year's Friday the 13th tattoo. I think they're doing this one again this year.
Whether it's a small tattoo or a full back piece, it means the same to the client. Here at Eden Tattoo, that's very important to us, and we want them to leave happy no matter what. Come in early, be patient, and you'll leave very happy and very full and very content.
Well, that'll do it for us here in the Forbidden Cove with Life Untapped. As always, I'm your host, Ivany Villalobos. Cheers, my friends. Follow us on Instagram at Life Untapped for all the latest craze and lifestyle trends.